If you've struggled with stress, balance, or burnout, and simply feel discouraged or even defeated, and if you're ready to move from force to flow and enjoy ultimate Zen success in your career, health, or relationships, then the Zen Success Show is for you. Your host, Carissa Sims, is an entrepreneur, corporate consultant, best-selling author, meditation teacher, and healer who has found her own Zen success. Here's your host, Carissa Sims.
Welcome to this week's episode of Zen Success. Today, I have the pleasure of speaking with Michaela Kelley Canterbury. Michaela is a lawyer, writer, and she obtained her JD at Gonzaga University School of Law in Spokane, Washington. I'm familiar with that school, and graduated from, how do you say that? Duquesne University in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, with a BA in political science and a minor in philosophy. So Michaela is licensed to practice law in Alaska and is owner and operator and lead trial lawyer at Kelley and Canterbury, where she works with her husband, Christopher, partner in all things. How sweet. She resides in Eagle River, Alaska with Christopher, where they raise their son, daughter, and dogs in the same valley and woods where she was raised. Welcome, Michaela.
Thank you so much for having me.
Did you know that I'm from Alaska?
No. Whereabouts? I did not know that.
I did not. And interviewing you today, I was like, okay, reviewing your bio and everything. I'm like, oh my God, I totally know where she lives. So, I mean, I grew up all over Alaska. Like I started off in Sitka when I was really young. And I actually even lived in Washington for a little bit, up by Spokane. And then, so it's just interesting. So I lived in Sitka and then we moved, and I also lived in Kotzebue, way up north. Mm-hmm. So, lived in like an Inuit village, and in Sitka, I was with the Tlingit. So I was really like with the people there. And then, in Fairbanks, which I was like, oh my God, get me out of here. And then, yeah, exactly. And then Palmer. So I graduated high school in Palmer. So that's why I know Eagle River. I spent my last few years in Alaska, and then I went to college in Oregon. So yeah, I'm an Alaska girl.
Wow. And you've been like all over. I mean, like you've been places where most Alaskans haven't even been.
I know.
I mean, Alaska's an enormous state. So
yeah.
I mean, going from like Sitka to Kotzebue, that's a lot of ground you're covering there.
I know. And it's like, I remember these like rickety airplanes that we'd have to like fly in and out of the village. And yeah, totally. It was interesting because my mom was a probation officer.
Oh,
so
that was my mom.
Really? Oh my God, really, they probably knew each other.
I mean, the thing is that, I mean, wow, this just validates that this was meant to be. I mean,
this is a synchronicity, because I'm like, oh my God, this is making my heart all warm. Just having, because you are the first person that I've interviewed for my show from Alaska also.
Oh, I'm so excited. I'm getting truth bumps. This is
you're getting goosebumps. Yeah. So anyways, you are my Alaska sister. And yeah, it's wonderful to connect with you, and congrats to all your success of being a lawyer and an author of this incredible book. I love the cover of it too. Like, how did you come up with that cover? It's just like, it feels like a total surrender.
Yeah. I had help. So I have a wonderful book designer. She helped me with the interior and the exterior. And she's just wonderful. And she's helping me with the, we're doing a re-release of Sister Siren this September with an audio version of the book. I've had a lot of calls for that because a lot of people get their information now through the ears, and not through the eye holes, but through the ear holes. So anyway, she's helping me with the design for the audiobook. And there's been such a response to the book cover because it is so very beautiful. And I think just captures the journey with my sister, my biological sister, and I in Alaska.
Yeah.
And so we're coming out with some swag too. So
Really?
this fall. Yeah, September is Recovery Month, and we are celebrating over 4 years of my sister's recovery. And so that's why we're
You said
on over 4. Yeah.
over 4.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So we're celebrating it with the re-release with the audio component. And I'm working on getting the swag because people really do like the cover. And so I want to get some swag for people and all that jazz.
Yeah. Yeah. That's amazing.
A lot of help.
I feel like it's it could be a movie. Just looking at that and the title and everything, it just feels like it could be, so.
Yes, I've put that out into the universe.
Oh, you did? Well, I feel
that it manifests. I hope that it manifests. So I do too. It's such an important message. It's so real. It's real, Alaska, real and raw. So and it's a story of hope, and it's a story of recovery. And so I love to share it with the world because there is hope and healing and recovery. It's not a straight line. It's not, rainbows and unicorns. There's lateral moves, and there's 3 steps forward and 2.5 steps back, but all the relationships in our family. And when I say I had help with the book cover, I mean my sister's involved, my daughter's involved, my son, my husband, everybody's voting. But yeah, my sister wrote the prologue and my dad wrote the epilogue, and so we're all in on it.
That's amazing. And it's so interesting, and we can go deeper into the story as we go on. But I was just thinking, growing up in Alaska, you see signs of addiction. Now, I'm sure it's everywhere, but I feel like there's something special about Alaska where it felt more like drinking alcohol every day was like socially acceptable. I mean, in high school,
especially in the villages.
Oh yeah. It's like, they don't even like look down upon it at all, and so I just feel like it's such an important subject, to talk about, especially for Alaska, to shine the light on it, because I feel like a lot of this is hidden, these hidden addictions and, just wanting to have fun and feeling like that's part of what makes them fun. And I know for myself, I probably had an addiction to alcohol from high school into college and not even thinking that it was a problem.
Yes. And that's exactly how it happened with my sister. She was an elite athlete, and she was getting good grades. We come from a small community in Eagle River, just outside of Anchorage.
Yep. About 30 minutes outside of Anchorage for those who don't know. Yeah.
Yeah. And so like everybody knows each other. And so this was happening. My sister sustained an athletic injury. She was a speed skater in the Arctic Winter Games. She qualified and she broke her ankle. And that was when they had the Arctic Winter Games at that time in Canada at one of the horses. I can't remember which horse in Canada, either the dead horse or the yellow horse or white horse. I don't know. One of the horses that's in Canada, that town.
Yeah.
She broke her ankle, and she was like 12, 13-ish.
So she was competing in the Olympics at that age.
Yeah, the Arctic Winter Games.
Games, but is that like a qualifier for the Olympics? Is it like a feeder into the Olympic Winter Games, or no, it's just something else?
I wasn't the athlete in the field.
Oh yeah, but it sounds very like high up there, the Arctic Winter Games.
It was.
Yeah.
Right. And she competed, she was a college athlete, and she went to school well, she went all over, but she landed in Evergreen. And so she was a college athlete at Evergreen, and she was so good at her sport, which was soccer. After she broke her ankle speed
Oh,
skating,
she picked up something else.
she went to soccer.
Evergreen in what state?
Washington.
In Washington. Yeah.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. And she was so good. She was invited to try out for the women's professional. I think it's called the Sounders or something like that. For the
Wow.
yeah, she chose to go the athletic route, or not, excuse me, the educational route, and got
Yeah.
her advanced
In
degree.
college.
And so, but all of that was brewing. I mean, when she broke her ankle, they gave her oxycodone and hydrocodone to a preteen, and this was in Canada. And my parents didn't really know, they were just doing what the doctors told them to do.
Yeah.
And then
And maybe the doctors didn't give your mom the warning of how highly addictive it can be.
Exactly. And this was oh my goodness, she was preteens. So my sister's 13 years younger than I am.
Okay.
So I want to say this was in oh my goodness, early 90s, mid 90s, where it wasn't really being the addictive quality of these pain medications were not being examined. And
they were just praised. I remember that time. They were just praised as like, this is it. This is the solution.
Right. And they were giving it to preteens. And then shortly after that, she was diagnosed with ADHD. So put on top of that, what I think is called Ritalin that they were giving them at the time. Again, not knowing what this really was, but now I know it to be, meth light basically is an amphetamine,
Is it? I didn't know. I didn't know that Ritalin is considered that.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah. And it's being exchanged at the schools and all that to perform better on tests for people who don't even have the diagnoses. And so,
oh, really? Wow.
Yeah. And it just, so this was brewing and compounding from when she was a preteen all the way to, college and advanced, degrees, and just got out of control. And right under all of our noses, we had no idea that she was so dependent upon medication. So it started as opiate, really, and then it evolved into this heroin and meth.
Okay.
And homelessness. I mean, that's what Sister Siren's really about. It's about the 3-ish years that my sister was in active addiction to heroin and meth, and how our family navigated that and continued to love her through this addiction and into recovery. But that's what this is about, and has a glossary of terms. I had no idea, right? I'm just a hockey mom from Eagle River, Alaska, right? So I had no idea. I always thought DOC was, Department of Corrections, but in addiction land, it's drug of choice. And so I
see. I didn't know that either.
Yeah. So I got a glossary of terms in there for all the peeps that don't know
about that.
And rehab and all these things that I was learning. And so that's why the subtitle, so the total title is Sister Siren, a nonfiction about addiction and a field guide on how to love an addict. And so, because I didn't have, there weren't any resources for me. I mean, honestly, I thought I could type in my zip code. I really thought this, Trissa. I thought I could type in my zip code, and then all these resources for how I could fix what was happening to our family and my sister would pop up. Oh boy. That's why I wrote this field guide on how to love an addict, because everything was tough love, or boundaries and limits and detach with love, and rock bottom, and
Mm,
it was just all prickly and mean and uh, unresourceful. I'm like,
mm,
we cannot, no, she cannot be alone in this. We have to, it's hard to love right now, but let's figure out how to do this. And so that's what this is about. And includes the stories, the tips and tools that worked for me,
mm,
and that I just, I'm sharing with everybody, because there's a lot of stigma and people feel alone, whether it's the addict or the people that
mhm,
love addicts. We both feel alone and we're both
mhm.
ashamed for whatever reason. So anyway, I keep talking. You got some
Mm.
questions?
Yeah, this is no, this is the way it's supposed to be. This is a conversation and connecting and learning about the book. Yeah. So in your sister's journey is and in doing your research, did you find that sometimes the pain medication or Ritalin can lead to harder drugs like the heroin, like the meth?
It is my opinion that that's what happened with my sister. That
Yeah.
my sister was
Because
in
I can't believe that that could happen overnight, to be the heroin and the meth. Mm-hmm.
right. And she would explore other things. She is a fierce woman. She is a
Mm.
fierce woman.
And
And
maybe fearless because exploring other drugs, I mean, she could have died.
yeah, yes, that was one of my biggest fears, was that she was going to die. And I talk about that in the book as well, as how to step in with what I call RFFs, red flag feelings, because when you meet with those RFFs, the red flag feelings, you're more able to step in with love with the addict that you love. And so I was afraid that she would die. I was afraid that I would be the one that would be called to identify the body, and I would have to tell our parents. And uh, it's so, anyway, yeah, I think that this is my opinion. My opinion is
Of
that it
course, so we're not
all
medical
started. Yeah,
professionals,
yeah. I just
we're
went on
just
TV.
sharing. Hmm.
Right. My day job is I'm a personal injury lawyer. So I work with doctors a
Oh.
lot with people who are injured. And so I
Mhm.
I, I recognize these things. And as she's catapulting through life, doing great in her sports, doing great in school, she's taking drugs. She's, whether they're prescribed, and she's exploring with others, and she's drinking alcohol, and she's managing well. She's a high functioning addict. We didn't know that. Again, we come from a family of high functioning professionals. I'm a trial lawyer. My dad's a trial lawyer. My mom's a PhD. My sister got advanced degrees, and she was an elite athlete. And my kids are too. I mean, so like, we just didn't even see the signs. Now, in retrospect, I can go, oh, that's what that was. Or, oh,
Uh-huh.
that's what that was. Now I know. But at the time I did not. And
Yeah.
and I loved her so much. And it's an unconditional love, that what she told me was not a lie. But I saw what she was seeing, and I overlooked. Like, I would say, hey, what's going on with your skin, or what's going on with your eyebrow there? And she'd just say, well, I got a skin condition and I'm taking medication for it. Not a lie. But I didn't dig deeper, right? So anyway, I laugh about it, but I know the truth. Um, and I was able to, yeah, step in how I could.
Mm. Were you the first one that knew?
No, her girlfriends knew.
Yeah.
And they came and they told my mom.
Okay. Got it.
So yeah, they were going to go they were coming up from the lower 48, the Pacific Northwest of the lower 48, to
Yes.
visit my sister. They hadn't seen her, but they all grew up together, going to high school together and middle school. And they played soccer together and did sports. And she was not connecting with them. She was like not showing up. really, really late. And then when she did show up, she revealed to them that she was using heroin and that she was using street drugs, and that her husband at the time was providing them to her.
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah.
ooh, and did you know her husband?
Oh yeah. He was the captain of the soccer team at the college that they went to in Washington, and she was the captain of the women's soccer team. So they met in college, and yeah, they were, they met there, and they got married, and they came up to Alaska, and he actually worked for me again. And I love the guy. And he's not a bad guy, and he loved my sister, and my sister loved him. My sister still loves him, and I think he still loves her. They're just not, they just can't be. Not healthy.
Oh, yes.
Yeah,
Interesting
I mean,
that they love each other, but they know they're not healthy for each other. That is very
that was
brave, very brave.
well, that took some time, like about 15 years.
15 years. Yeah. Yeah. But still, like, knowing that was that's what it would have take. So got it. So then, do you think we can see the warning signs of addictions? Like if we have a family member or maybe in ourselves?
Excellent question. I didn't see him, like I mentioned, I didn't see him at the time, but I love sharing with other people what I now know. Okay.
Perfect.
So as warning signs, just things just to be observant, and then like step in, um, some of the signs that I can now observe is there's always a crisis. There's always an element, there's always an element of things are out of control.
Like things are going wrong in their life, and it just seems like all the time or something.
Right. Let me give you some examples. Flat tires, can't pay the bills, getting fired, can't make rent, always sick. And then the toggling between like an overreaction to a minor situation.
I see. Yeah.
It's just
it's like the drug talking.
It's something's talking. Their suffering is talking for sure.
Their suffering.
And so it comes out in rage, it comes out in fear, it comes out in overwhelm. And I didn't have that. My sister and I didn't have that kind of relationship where we raged at each other, or that just wasn't how we were. And so observing it in her, I'm like, hey, is everything okay? And there would be this overwhelm where I know she's smart. I mean, she has advanced degrees, so I know she can do this. So what's going on? Also, her appearance started to change. She gained a lot of weight from when previously she was, a very svelte, competitive athlete. So, and then, and I'm biased, but I think my sister's gorgeous. And so she was letting her appearance go. Her hair was becoming dullish and not shiny. She lost her shine and her shimmer, her light, and
her light.
Her complexion was like her skin was peeling. She had bruises on her arms, which I now know were injection sites. She became an IV drug user. And she started wearing long sleeve shirts and lots of layers and hoodies and covering herself and making her hair like it would cover her eyes, so I wouldn't see that she was picking her eyebrow. That's another symptom, is that they will compulsively pick.
I see.
The word starts with a T. It's in my glossary of terms. It's like, I don't know, but it's
a disorder that can happen from doing these drugs. Right. Yeah. You become like, I've seen some situations where they become compulsive cleaners, or just like digging through electronics, digging things apart.
Exactly. And then just Yeah. And then just not wanting to be with family, and then isolating self and being with the other people. And and she would rationalize it. Well, sis, I mean, you don't know all my friends. I mean, that's a true statement. I don't know all her friends, and she's a grown adult. I don't have to know all her friends, but I mean, can you introduce them to me? Oh no, they gotta go. So things
Mhm.
like that. And then problems at work, whether showing up, always being sick. I now know she was dope sick, but she never invited me into her apartment. I would show up with chicken noodle soup and pumpkin cookies, and my
Did you
mom would
guys
call.
live in the same city?
Yeah, she lived in Eagle River too.
Yeah. Okay. At this point,
Yeah.
because she moved back after college.
Right. And after
Okay.
grad school, she
For
and
grad
her
school. Mhm.
husband moved back. And he
Uh,
had advanced degrees too. He had a master's in finance, and so he was, like I said, he worked for me as a paralegal at my office, and
mhm.
like he would show up. I now know, like, he wasn't getting projects done, and
Ah,
he wasn't. And he would show up, and he would have these sweats, and
hmm.
I I'm not an athlete, like I mentioned before. I mean, I do I do yoga, and I walk
Yeah.
through the woods. I do nature walks, and I hike with my
Yeah.
dog.
That's great. You
That,
look healthy and
well, thank you.
vibrant.
But I
So
wasn't like
working.
competitive athlete like they were.
Right. You
So
weren't driven like that. Hmm.
yeah, and they would. I mean, they play hard, and they all that stuff, and anywho, so he
So you
kind of
felt like they were going through something like you couldn't relate. Like maybe it was just they were
right.
like working out a lot or something.
He's a bigger man than I am. He's taller than I am, and he plays soccer. And so maybe he goes for a run. Maybe he sweats differently than I do. I would always rationalize something in my
I
brain
see.
to make this fit. But now looking back on it, I'm like, oh, okay, that's what that was.
Yeah.
So
Did you
just
feel
now I
kind of
can make.
like blinded? Did you feel like you were naive because you loved your sister and her husband so much and like wanted to be a part of their family?
Totally. But you know what? That was the gift.
That was the gift. Because
Honestly,
now, yes.
I wasn't a judgy McJudger, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I'm stepping in going, "Are you okay?
Yeah.
Can I help
You
you?"
weren't mad. I get it. You weren't mad at all.
Yeah, yeah. There wasn't, yeah. And not to say that those RFFs didn't surface, because they did. The resentment and the betrayal and the sadness and the
Mm.
disappointment,
Yeah,
all
you
that
lost
happened.
your sister. You lost everything you thought she was.
Yes, as did, my parents, um,
Hmm.
my husband, my children, and then
Yeah,
how do
their
I,
auntie.
right? How do I step into? And my children weren't adults at the time. They were getting there. They were almost there. Like
They
teenagers.
were
I mean,
teenagers.
yeah, they were teenagers. And so all those fears about, oh my gosh, my sister's husband works at, the local pizza joint. And I know that's a drug place. And so do my kids'
Oh,
friends know? And who else knows? And so those
ah,
kinds of things like started, those again are more of those RFFs. Again, I'm getting truth bumps, but they show up for a
yeah.
reason, Teresa, because they're trying to tell me something. So I learned to meet with those RFFs rather than run away, because I
Mm.
think, or not step in because I feel like they betrayed me, or they betrayed our community, or they betrayed my children. They didn't show up. Rather than buying into those RFFs, meet with those RFFs. And I would do this through meditation, and I'd have to set a timer because sometimes I get lost in my brain. And then I, but I got deeper to where I figured out what's my deepest fear here. So that when the rubber meets the road and I have that moment at a trap house, which I did, I can stand there in my calm and in my love for her and say, I love you. I love you. I'm here for you. What can I do? And we had that moment of love together. I couldn't have, I could only have done that with my naivete and then stepping into my RFFs and not buying into resentment, betrayal, offense, stigma, isolation, all that jazz.
Now, were you close growing up, and do you have other siblings? Like, what was the age difference? And
yeah, we are close. We are 13 years apart. So it's
that's pretty significant to be close.
Right. It's a unique sibling relationship because, I mean, I was babysitting her. I was 13 when she was born. So my parents got a built-in babysitter, right? I'm driving her places. She's coming to the slumber parties, with my girlfriends, who are still my girlfriends to this day, and so like all my girlfriends were like, that was another wonderful thing that it helped me navigate this, is I have the best girlfriend posse in effect. I'll tell you what. And so they all knew her and know her as the little girl before addiction.
Right.
So yeah, anyway, so we were, I had this unconditional love, I feel, because I was like,
she was so innocent and born. Right. You're almost like her parents. Right.
But in a unique way, because I did go away for college and law school. And so when I went away for college and law school, and she was getting injured and she was going through, the things, I was like getting married, having kids. I'd already been to law school, so and these things that were happening to her, I was ascribing to, oh, well, this is our adult life now. This is, I guess she's married and I'm married, and like, so I was kind of just ascribing that to it. But I now recognize that there was an unhealthy sibling. There was an unhealthy aspect to that, where I was like the really cool sub-parent, and I felt responsible for her. I felt obliged to care for her.
There's a heaviness to that responsibility.
Yeah, I felt a huge responsibility. And my sister is an adult woman, and so me telling her what she should do, or or having certain expectations that she do recovery, or she step into recovery, or get unaddicted the way I think she should, like I totally have this plan, Trista. This is how we're going to do it. This is how we're going to fix it. This is how you're going to get it clean, which I don't even like that word anymore, because clean, the opposite of clean, dirty, and she's never been dirty to me. I love the woman, right? But anywho, I had these expectations about how she should get out of addiction. And it was similar to how I'm a trial lawyer, and I work cases, and how am I going to navigate getting my client through this situation?
Very solution oriented. Yeah.
And that's what I was doing with addiction and my sister, which is insulting. I think.
She didn't take it well?
Nobody takes it well when you're telling them what to do, how to live their life. Nobody does. So that's something I learned. Even though you love them so much, telling them what they should do for their own life, nobody likes that.
Yeah, I notice my kids. I feel that from my kids.
Yeah.
I tell them to take showers, brush their teeth. They hate it.
Yeah. I mean, it's your job when they're not adults. And so that was the challenge for me that I needed to work through, is that, like I said, I was a really cool sub-parent, right? Don't get me wrong. Our parents were great. And they worked hard in whatever they were doing. But telling your younger people what to do, that's our job, and also in our family, that's the way we were raised. My dad's the oldest of 9. And so you step in with your younger siblings and you take care of them. And when stuff hits the fan, you step in and you care for them. That's what we do. We change their diapers, blah, blah, blah. I was bringing that into adulthood, and we had an unhealthy adult sibling relationship. And so we had to navigate that while she's difficult to love because she's in the throes of addiction, but navigating all that, our relationship is so awesome now. It's like super cool, supernova cool. So.
Oh, that's amazing. Did you have other siblings? Did you grow up with other?
No, yeah, no, it's just
Okay.
she and I.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah. And
my
there's
mother,
something special
yeah,
about that too. You were the only two siblings.
there is. My mother had she's very special. My mother and my sister. My mother had a miscarriage, and she had they call it an ectopic pregnancy, and so they had
Okay.
to remove one of her tubes. And my mother was told that she's not going to have any more kids. And we were actually, our family at that point, when I was 13-ish, 12, we're entertaining adoption.
Oh,
For another child. But then my mom got pregnant with my sister, and she was she was born around Christmas time, so we call her our Christmas baby. She was a miracle blessing. So
oh my God. That is
yeah,
incredible. That is
isn't it though? So
wow.
my sister and my daughter are born on the bookends of the 12 days of Christmas, and my sister and my daughter have a really beautiful
Mm.
relationship now, healthy and
Oh, wonderful.
yeah.
Did you, when you found out about her addiction and her husband selling drugs or giving the drugs to her, did you ever feel in fear that your kids would be exposed to that or in danger?
Yes. Yes, I was that. In fact, when I learned from my mother, when my mother called in hysterics about what her soul sister girlfriends had revealed to her, it waterfalled on me, and I was kind of with it. But the next call was to my husband, and we just went through every time. He was traveling at the time with our son, and I was at the house with our daughter, and we were just going through every time our kids were at their apartment,
Yes.
and all the times I wasn't invited in, and now I knew why. And then I'm like, oh my God, were there needles there? Were there drugs there? Did they see this? Were there bad guys there? I bad guys, air quotes, but you know what I mean.
Well, yeah. I
So
mean, you never know.
absolutely.
People getting out of prison, or you never know.
Well, yeah, and in this 3 years of active addiction where she became homeless, our parents' house was there was a home invasion, there was a burglary, and they wiped out because they had my sister and her then husband had got kicked out of their apartment because they couldn't make the rent. And so when my parents were traveling, they went to my parents' house and had drug parties, and so the people that were at those parties saw everything in my parents' house and shared that information with their cohorts. And the next time my parents traveled, we'll wipe them out of everything. And so yeah, and I was very afraid that I mean they took my parents, my parents, my dad's office, all of his financial papers were spread out like a hurricane, a wind came in, a willowa came in, and so like our birth certificates, everything was there. And so I was very fearful that out in the universe is our personal information, my parents' financial information, and they had, cleaned out everything. And so I was always like looking over my shoulder, wondering what
Yeah.
people knew about me and knew about our family and knew about my children. It was very scary. Yeah, it was. But again, I had to step in and meet with that fear and just look it in the
You
eye.
embraced it. Yeah.
It was, I mean, like my chest, and I'm getting a little splotchy. You can probably see it. It's there. I feel it, but it's good because I know I know I can step into that. I mean, I developed a courage, a unique type of courage where I don't run away from that, and I don't hide from that. I step into it to greater understanding. It's what's really scaring me here. You know, that's my other, like, I call that my other little girlfriend posse in effect. Like when she shows up, and resentment and betrayal. I mean, they can be naughty bad sometimes, but I got to meet with them because they're trying to tell me something. So noodle down to what it is, and be at peace with it. So when it does, enter your sphere of influence, you're like, hey, bud, what's up, Buttercup?
Yeah. I feel like you could be an inspirational speaker or talk with companies about that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Because you have such a lightheartedness, and you're funny and dynamic. I don't know. It's just something. Well, I know you have a job as a lawyer, but you never know someday.
Again, I've put it out into the universe, and I'm manifesting it because this is important stuff. I mean,
Yes.
the drug addiction is an epidemic. We just came out of a pandemic. We have lost a lot of beautiful souls due to addiction, and sharing the message on how to step in when it's difficult to love with people you love. And loving an addict is really hard to do. It's really hard. You got to come prepared, dress in layers, as they say in Alaska, right?
Yeah.
And then take them off when things get hot.
Right.
But
Right.
yeah. So I'm all for it. So if you know people that need to hear the message, give them my name and number. I will step into that conversation because I want people to be able to step into love with people that they love who are suffering from addiction, because that's what's needed. Because running away from it, they already feel alone. Because and the people who love them are alone. I really felt alone. And this book, my girlfriends, like my community members, they're like, Michaela, we were here the whole time. I'm like, I know, but I was embarrassed. I was scared. And I didn't know. And now they're all excited about Recovery Month, and my sister's recovering,
and celebrating
we're
that.
having events around town, and we are celebrating it. And she's my sister is now a life coach for women in recovery, and she's a trauma-informed yoga instructor, and so she's doing really great things. And so like the community steps in to support.
That's amazing. Now, and your family, and like with your mom and dad, did they ever feel guilty, like they could have stopped it somehow or contributed because she had that injury so young?
Yes and no. So,
okay.
As my dad would say, well, I know I raised her right.
He's like, hey,
yeah.
I'm out of here.
And he's, he's like, I raised her right. And he's right. There's, we come from a good family, and well provided for, and all. And my mom was the other, we shouldn't say was the other, but had a different
other extreme. Yeah. Different in there.
It was like, does she not like us? What did I do wrong? Is this my fault?
Yeah.
I even did that, Trissa. I even felt, how did I contribute?
Yeah, Carissa.
Sure,
it's a hard,
Carissa.
yeah, okay, yeah.
Pardon me, I apologize.
That's okay.
So I felt the same thing as the really cool sub-parent. And Carissa, I represented her like she was involved in car accidents. Again, another sign I didn't see, right? Roll over your car, or your husband rolls the car and you get a head injury. Okay, I'll take that case. And I got her a good recovery. And then I'm thinking, gosh, did I just contribute more?
To her addiction. Right.
Right, because there are more pain pills for the head injury and the back injury.
It's almost like, did she do that on purpose to get the pain pills?
Well, she was a passenger in the car, and her husband was driving and flipped the car. And so in the car, I didn't have a seatbelt because her dog had chewed through it. Typical Alaska problems, right? Anyway, so the car wreck, here I am in my lawyer brain. The car wreck's not her fault. She's a passenger, he's driving, and she sustained an injury. It's a legit injury. It shows up on MRI. There it is, herniated disc.
Mm-hmm.
But the point is, Carissa, is I didn't see it. I didn't see it. I didn't see it as her sister. I didn't see it as a personal history, even though I could see it with other clients. With my other clients, I could see they're addicted. I didn't see it. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah. Yeah. Too close to you. Not wanting
and
to.
those rose colored glasses,
Right. Yeah. Because you seeing her
injury.
also as almost like a baby because you have raised her since she was a baby.
Right. And that's a legitimate injury, and treat
Yeah.
the legitimate injury. So that naivete and lack of objectivity was a blessing, but I did lay it on myself with the guilt as to, oh my God.
Oh, you could have seen it sooner or something.
Right. But if I stay there, the path that we took wouldn't have happened, and so I'm not the path we ended up taking was hard. It was scary. We're on the other end. So, but if I had seen it sooner, we wouldn't have what we have, the historical situation that we have now. If that makes sense. So there's in a way, I'm grateful, grateful for it.
Yeah.
That's I can share it. I can share it with others,
Right. That makes sense. So what was that moment? What was that moment where she decided to surrender to your love and your help, if that's what it took to get better?
Yeah. Good questions. There were, as she explains it, because her story of what was the moment for her is different than my observations.
I see.
So when she and I do events together,
yeah,
which is so fun, she talks about this compounding rock bottoms, if you will, where her,
because you would think the head injury like that might be a rock bottom.
Oh yeah, no, it got way worse.
You're like, oh no, that's baby stuff. Living on the streets,
Girl, yeah, I thought that was. I thought like living in a cot in a trap house was, but it kept going.
Wow.
So
because she's so strong, right? And fearless.
Right. She is strong, and she also has she's a big heart. She has a helping heart. And she's a mental health professional. That's her skill set. And
is that her degree also?
Yeah. She's
my God.
A licensed clinical provider.
Oh my God, that's amazing. I mean, it's like you don't wish that on anyone, but now just think of how the empathy she has for others.
Exactly. And she talks about that she knew a life of not being in a trap house, not suffering, so she had that memory and that experience where there were people that were with her in those spaces and never had that. Okay. So that was a factor, as she held on to that seed, if you will, of not suffering. And then she was assaulted by her landlord, which I will call drug dealer.
Oh.
So she was assaulted, and that by that point I had there's some people that call it detach with love. I have reframed it as love from afar, because detaching with love just sounds like you're cutting people off and you're just kind of like in space, like they cut off your oxygen supply. So I reframed it so it could fit me, so I could still love her. I just couldn't always do it close up. By that time, when she was assaulted, and living in a trap house,
What
I
is a
was,
trap house? I'm sorry. What is
it's
that?
basically where, I'm just going to use the lingo. Okay. It is
Yeah,
defined
I
in my
mean,
glossary terms.
okay.
However, actually, I could go to my glossary of terms and read you my thing.
Okay.
I could read it. Trap house. Originally used to describe a crack house, a drug house, shelter for drug users, and a place for dealers to supply. People who lack stable housing may call a trap house home, as it's a place for them to find shelter. Trap houses are drug dealers' base of operations and shelter with constant supply of drugs for users. Users are trapped in the house. Trap houses can be abandoned places, beautiful homes, basements of decent family homes, rooms in hotels or motels, or Airbnbs. And being trapped out is being associated with a trap house or residential environment dedicated to the distribution, to the sale or distribution of narcotics. So they can be, yeah, they can be. Anyway, this was it.
Okay.
So it's a trapped out place. And
Okay.
Your question was, what was the moment? Okay, so it
Yeah, the
was,
moment.
yeah. So, and then she started to overdose. And I didn't know this at the time when I was loving her from afar, but I felt it when she found recovery. It's a beautiful
Because
moment.
you already had confronted her and said that you were there for her if she ever wanted help.
Yes, we did an intervention. Our family did an intervention.
Okay. Before she hit this rock bottom. Okay, got it.
Right. And she had called at one moment saying, okay, I'll go to treatment.
Okay.
Like, okay, how are we going to do this whole withdrawal
Yeah.
thing, this detox withdrawal thing, which, remember, I'm a hockey mom. I don't know how to do this. So this was kind of like she had relapses along the way. So
yeah,
it's kind, and like I said, it's not a linear line here, Carissa. There were times where she called us saying that she would get help. She wanted our help. We'd step in. She tried a bout of rehab and she quit 3 days before.
okay.
She graduated and she relapsed and went deeper.
Okay.
And then I'm like, this is hard, and we had some, because half of us are lawyers in the family. I had memorandums of understanding with my sister. And we would communicate that way. So and they were to provide clean UAs and to provide and she wasn't living up to those. For some reason my video went, is it blurry on your end? It's blurry on mine. Oh, there, I went clean. Anyway, sorry. She wasn't living up to those. And so I was saying, hey, this is, we can't support you when you're not meeting when you're not meeting these standards of this and that. And so she fell down again. And then that's when she was assaulted by her landlord, and she had some overdoses and she was robbed. And the people that gave her the Narcan stole all her stuff. And then she was going to a different kind of rehab, a rehab where you meet with doctors and they give you Suboxone and check in with you.
Mm-hmm.
And she found that type of rehab her own self. And that doctor, one of the doctors there, said that she had a lot of fentanyl in her system, that she should not be alive right now, that she should be dead. Does she understand what's going on?
Mm.
And she relays this moment where she had overdosed and she knew she wanted to be alive. And she knew
I see. That was her choice moment. Yeah.
Yeah, that was her moment.
Oh,
You know what
I
I
don't
mean?
know if we have time to go over your moment. I thought that was
no, that's fine. That's fine. It's just that's a unique question that I need to unveil for people, because her moment is different than mine. But and I'm so glad she shares these, so we know, so people know, and the people that love addicts know this switchback of a road that
yes.
that is taken.
Wonderful. Well, do you think you could say your moment in like a few seconds? Or no?
My moment of
where she switched and she turned around.
Yeah, I wasn't even here. I was in Hawaii on
Oh,
spring break.
Hawaii. Amazing.
And
Loving from
I was,
afar.
yeah, I was so tired of it all. Chris. I was
Yeah.
so tired
You
of it all.
kind of like threw up your hands. That's a wonderful way to tell the universe you're ready.
And I'm standing on a rock, a barnacled rock, and I'm at the ocean's edge. And I love this woman so much. I love her, and I'm just releasing it. And
Yeah.
and this was in March. And that is her recovery date, is in March, from her 4 years of recovery. And I felt this swoosh, and I'm getting truth bumps as I tell this story. I knew it was going to be okay. Ooh, I'm getting all emotional about it, but I said, it's not up to me. She's got to find her way. I can still love her, but she's got to find it. And I was at peace. And when I look back, when she told me what her recovery date was, that was the day that I was on that barnacled rock and I let it go.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
It's been such a pleasure getting to know you, learning about your book, Sisters Siren. I'll put your website and how to buy your book in the show notes. Thank you for being on my show today, Michaela.
This is wonderful. Thank you. I so enjoyed talking with you.
Me too.
That's it for today's episode of Zen Success. Head on over to iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, or wherever you listen to shows. Subscribe to the show and share with friends. Be sure to head on over to ZenSuccessShow.com to help you on your Zen success journey, and join us on the next episode. May you find your own Zen success in life.